Hey, hello everybody.
What up?
Welcome back to the Who Gets Pitch, back with more EPL drama for you. And it's a happier week.
Hey, we're both on top. It's a pretty happy weekend.
Yeah.
Our teams took advantage of their situations. Other teams failed to do so. Man United, 2 more games till they get the inclusive 5 in a row.
Will it happen?
I'd love to talk about it, but I'm sticking with my coffee this morning, Chad.
Same.
Just getting the day going. Sun is shining.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get going.
Absolutely.
Want to start with your match here this weekend? I mean,
Sure, yeah. I think a lot of people probably entered this match a little bit nervous after the United game.
Sure.
Was United a little blip, or and it wasn't just United game, it was the previous games, not overly electric performances there. So yeah, I think there's certainly some nerves here of is this a blip, or is this going to be a deeper decline that could have put some real tension on the title race. But I think Arsenal showed up, did what they needed to do. Leeds at home has been a better team than I think at the beginning of the season they were. They've got some decent results there in recent weeks, so it was going to be a battle, I think, but I think Arsenal just came in and just understood the assignment, I guess. They knew they had to not only win, but I think a convincing win was going to do right by them, but also the fans, and get everyone kind of back on board, back in action here.
Yeah, y'all were breathing heavy after the Man U defeat, and definitely, looking down, you're going, God, City just is not going away. Like, we need to get these 3 points here. So, and Leeds has been no slouch, especially in the last 2
absolutely.
months. They've been an intimidating team to go against.
Yeah, I think this game was. You got the bad news of Saka going out injured in the warm-up, so that already threw a little bit of a wrench in things. But yeah, I think this lineup anyway should have been enough and was enough. We saw Kai Havertz get his first start in like a year, basically. So that's great. I think having seen him play now twice with Gyökeres on the pitch, they seem to have a pretty good understanding of each other. Havertz seems to like to look for those through balls to Gyökeres, but then they have some kind of unspoken connection, I think, right now.
Mm-hmm.
Of maybe having both played in that striker role, Havertz maybe understands more of where Arteta wants a striker to be, and then Gyökeres is kind of feeding off of that. I don't think there's anything too crazy that happened this game between them, but in the Champions League game, they worked off each other really well. So yeah, if that's maybe a pathway forward to kind of re-spark this attack, then great. Havertz has looked pretty good since coming back. I think probably still working his way back up to full match fitness, but he's out there already contributing. Got a goal in the Champions League. Just got the goal yesterday in the EFL Cup. He's looking good. I'm glad to have him back out there. It's another creative person on the pitch, but also is a competitor to that striker role. So hopefully kicks Gyökeres on a little bit more. But yeah, this is just the Arsenal games of earlier in the season where it just felt like kind of run-of-the-mill, dominate, get your goals, pack it up,
No own goal. It got taken away, too, so...
Yeah, so sorry to all the fans that have been posting that picture, but own goal is no longer our top scorer.
I don't think those fans, though, check back later to see if goals were changed, so they're still probably a firm believer in who your top goal scorer is at the moment. No longer OG. Gyökeres is now in that top slot. of course, the Arsenal slander just is going to be there until Arsenal is no longer a club. But if anything, the main slander that I'm seeing is the comparisons of Saka to the new signings. And it's like, is it fair to say you could be disappointed in his play this year despite being top of the table? I mean, you're getting contributions anywhere. Like, do you want more, or are you like content with how this is going because of your table placement?
I mean, I think you'd always want more from Saka just because we have seen those seasons where he has done more. But that was, seasons where
Was that his fault?
other teams maybe didn't fully realize his talent yet, right? So that he had a little bit more space. And again, he might be asked to just stay a little bit wider this year to, draw more players outside and, free up space for Gyökeres. But I think he'll probably be disappointed with his numbers so far. I feel like there's certainly been times where he should have had a goal or an assist, but Gyökeres was missing the final ball. I mean, it's hard to be like too critical of him when we're sitting at the top of the table and other people are scoring, picking up the goals that he hasn't been getting. But I think you always want to see more when a player's capable of more. I think the comparisons going around are a little bit skewed in that you're comparing it to players that cost tens of millions of dollars, where Saka was from the academy. So it's like the price value there is not even, you can't even compare it. It's
right.
This is made at the club rather than bought. So if you're looking at pure numbers, and sure, there's good seasons and bad seasons for every player, but I don't know. The contributions he's made over the seasons have been incredible. He's been one of the top performers and probably always the first name on the team sheet. And, maybe this season finally is getting proper rotation here and there.
Right.
So, yeah, I'd say I'm happy with what he's done this season, but I think there's more that he can do. It just is.
He's not the focal point right now.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just one of those seasons where he's not the focal point, or he's just having an off game here or there, whatever it might be. But that's what the rest of the team is for.
This could be internal too, where they're saying, hey, don't exhaust. Like, there's no reason you should be going, and receiving the most fouls in the season by, early February. Save that for the March, April, May run, because that's in the past when Arsenal has kind of died off. Yeah. And that's, we've kind of seen that on repeat, where Saka just gets, just beat up by this time of year, and then goes out with an injury that's a little bit longer. So it wouldn't be shocking to me if that was the conversation, saying, hey, like, I don't need you to be in the box, out dribbling, out pacing everyone in November, December, when we have a very long season to go, and still fighting for 4 cups at this moment. Still in the 4. Yeah. So that's solid, right? That's exactly. If you told fans you'd be sitting first place 5 months ago, 6 points ahead of City at this time of the year, you'd be stoked, right? You'd be stoked, for sure. Especially with City struggling to defend, to score, to hold a lead. There's a lot of pros out of the situation if I'm Arsenal right now. And with Pep being a little, shaky at the top right now, not happy with the spending, even though you're spending, it's an interesting place to be. This top, I'm gonna call it top 6 in the table right now. It can shift fast.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can just jump over to that City game. I know you didn't get to watch it live, but I watched it live, and I turned this thing on, always hoping for whatever voodoo Tottenham gets against City is there today. And 11 minutes in, Shirky scores a pretty simple goal, and I was like, well, that's maybe that.
Here it comes. Yeah.
Tottenham just looked, that first half just looked so just slow, and no one wanted to be out there. No one was really putting up much of a challenge. It looked like a typical City versus any sort of lower end team, just kind of dominate and score goals as they please. And I thought that was going to be that. And then here comes second half. I think Tottenham made a sub or two at halftime, if I remember correctly. Let's see if I can find.
Yeah, they brought in Sarr for Romero.
Brendan Sarr. Oh yeah, Romero's
went to 3 in the back.
Yeah. Apparently a little sickness in Romero. So yeah, Sarr came in, and that even with that sub, I was like, Romero coming off, that feels bad. Like,
right.
One of your only solid, I guess your only true center back in this lineup that they had. And if he's coming off, everyone's thinking injury. So I was like, well, this is just going to get worse. They already dropped 2 and probably could have dropped another 1 or 2 in that first half. And I don't know what really changed. It just seemed like City then was like, well, we're up 2. Tottenham's not playing, so let's go out the second half and we'll just like cruise control and we'll get through this. And Tottenham woke up. They were playing much quicker, more threatening balls, getting players in more dangerous positions. They grabbed 2 goals back, and it looked like City could do nothing. Haaland has been quiet in the league for a while now, and Semenyo, of course, gets his goal earlier, but where Haaland was the only one scoring, it's like now Semenyo is the only one scoring, and that's still just the issue of who else is helping this team.
It's like their killer instinct just to shut off. Haaland hasn't scored since January 7th, so been a minute. It makes you ponder the World Cup coming up. Is he saving his energy for this? It's always going to be a story. I don't want to believe that's the case. I just think he's having a really bad run of form, and the way they're trying to play him. What happened to the Haaland through balls where he just overpowers everyone? Like that's kind of gone.
I think it just they're not really playing those balls, but then they're also, I don't think, really supporting him that much with wingers or anything. Like Semenyo there is now helping, but beyond that, it's like even that when they do get a ball up to Haaland, he's got 2 center backs on him, right? And I think teams, especially some of the bigger teams, have learned how to deal with him when they can at least put 2 guys on him, right? So there's just, I think, not enough support, and I don't know. I assume Cherky was kind of coming in to not be the Kevin De Bruyne replacement, but be that creative outlet, and something's not clicking there. He's not only not getting all the game time I would think he would get, but there just doesn't seem to be that instinct that De Bruyne had to just always know where Haaland is and play the perfect ball.
Yep, almost not even looking, just putting it anywhere on the pitch and he'll find it. Yeah, it's kind of non-existent. Well, great segue because Liverpool is about to play City this weekend. My Super Bowl, the momentum shift between Liverpool's, I guess, last 2 weeks and City's last couple weeks is like we're playing City is what I would call it the perfect time. Oh, it feels like vibes are high. Mo is assisting. Ekitike is now the new Fernando Torres, deemed by Gerrard. There's a lot of... It's crazy how fast the Liverpool mentality has... Again, this could happen at any moment. It could go right back to being in the dumps. But all of a sudden, we're kind of riding high. We get that bye in the Champions League, finishing 3rd or 4th in that table. Not having to go against PSG right at the start, sitting 3rd behind Arsenal and Bayern Munich. fantastic, right? You tell Liverpool fans that in the beginning of the season, we're stoked. Our new phrase is for Hugo is F a big three, it's me. So we don't need Wirtz, we don't need Salah, we don't need Isak. It's Hugo. And for him to be like our bargain signing and being at this point, you know, Wirtz he's like our best player right now. We have to see that.
Yeah.
But Hugo's just doing what he wants, right?
Yeah.
He can. There's no fear. He's shooting the ball. You know, when he misses the target, it's kind of like I don't feel stressed. It's not a hate watch. It's he'll find it next time, which is what he's doing. I mean, he's scoring with the outside of his boot. He's dribbling around players. His link-up play has been fantastic. So going into the City game now, Liverpool at home, like I expect to win. That's
I would too. I mean, just based off not only just the past, you know, match day, but prior, you know, Liverpool was kind of figuring things out, but I think we've seen that Wirtz Ekitike connection is really starting to come to life. You know, they're both playing really well and helping each other, I think, get into dangerous positions. And then, like you said, Salah's out there looking more lively. I wouldn't say back to what I would want to see him at, but at least contributing. And, you know, City, like we just said, is kind of flat, I guess, at this moment in time.
They're wounded.
Yeah.
They it doesn't look like they have any drive. And I don't think this is going to be the game that, you know, is like a catalyst for them to find momentum to chase after Arsenal. I think this is fully shifted into Liverpool's favor. And, you know, I say it from afar. I hope Arsenal struggles more, so it allows us to catch up. I mean, we're down in the table right now. We're 14 points away. Not impossible, considering Arsenal has had shaky form, right, as of late, and as has most in the top six has been pretty shaky. You know, Man United's on a nice little run. I think they're on a bit of a honeymoon phase, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But again, Liverpool's only lost. If we say it like this, Liverpool's only lost one game in the last 11. People are going, "Wow, like nice run of form." But when you look at the draws, those add up. We kick ourselves for all these draws we picked up. I mean, give us 2 wins out of those, and we're sitting pretty and in reach of Arsenal. Yeah. So I'm optimistic. This could turn very quickly on Sunday. Like, I don't know what Sunday my mood at the end of that match will look like. I just think we're playing City at the perfect time, considering where we were a month ago and where we are now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like, even beyond stats and just like the visual test, it looks like Liverpool is, you know, playing with such a energy now and like belief, I guess, and City I think has little spurts of energy, but it's kind of only coming through Semenyo right now.
Yep.
So I don't think that'll pan out. I wouldn't be surprised if Semenyo grabs a goal because he's just in that kind of form right now, but I think overall Liverpool just has that extra drive at this moment, and you know, I think while their season isn't exactly what they hoped for, they'll certainly still have their eye on getting into Champions League positions, and you know, they're right there, so they got to keep fighting, got to keep focused on that. And you know, who knows what happens with the teams above you. There's 14 games left here, so I don't know, someone up there could take a big tumble and leave the door open, and you know, what could have been a terrible season could now be, you know, at least in the top 4.
I don't know if this is being unrealistic here, but at this point in the table, I'm seeing us as the second best team. Can we climb to City's position? I think so. I think we can catch number 2. Again, it would take a crazy fall off for Arsenal to get that one spot, and for us to go on an absolute 14-game win streak is pretty much what would need to happen. Chelsea's too much of a wild card. Same with United, and Villa has just been kind of like hit or I mean, look at their last 6: loss, win, draw, loss, win, loss. So it's that shows potential for us to catch them there. It'll be a test to see how the end of the year goes. I mean, I think Slot's job depends on it. I think it'll be really hard for Liverpool to say, Slot, we don't want you if you're sitting second, right? Like, So his job is I think there's some urgency on his part. I think if anything, we got to just be a little more concerned about how Salah finishes the season, because I'm thinking Liverpool is going to sell him this summer. If I'm being realistic, probably going to sell him to some Saudi club for a ton of money. Mm-hmm. But if he goes on a crazy run of crazy form here and they figure it out, do we want to sell him in the summer if like we're sitting second and like the chemistry's now there? I don't know. I don't think so. As a fan, I don't want to. But like if we're not figuring it out by say late April and we're sitting 5th in the table, okay, then we have that conversation. But I mean, look at where Kirkes is now, right? Look at where Wirtz is. Look at where Ekitike is. I wish Isak was here. I wish. Because who knows what we could have looked like then. First, it was going to take time. It's funny now that Konate is having this blossoming of a month where I know Madrid is going to come calling again. It's just inevitable. I don't know. Again, my Christmas list was not only Mo to be happy at the end of the season, but the entire team. Considering how rocky of a middle of October, November it was, to be smiling about playing City in a couple days here is a drastic change. It's a very bipolaristic season for us. And with Alonso sitting in the wings, Slot is sweating and saying some bizarre things. Let's not lie. He's saying some weird stuff in press conferences, talking about, if we didn't have to play PSG, we would be like winning the league now. Comments that just didn't make a ton of sense. You can tell he's feeling the pressure. But I don't know. I mean, let's see what happens this weekend. If we beat City this weekend, I wish we played Arsenal again. I wish we could play United again. There's a lot of like, dang it, if only we could do it one more time. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I think a win against City certainly leaves that door open. And I think we'll kind of spur Liverpool on here a little bit more. Because I think you got a few traps ahead of you. You go away to Sunderland, who have not lost at home yet, so that'll be a bigger test than we would have anticipated. But then even you go away to Forest, which they've been okay in recent weeks, and then you got West Ham, which I mean, I guess they've been okay, but they're maybe still figuring it out as well. So it's not like a terrible run. It's just some traps there. So as long as you get through the City game feeling good, and I think that should be able to spur this Liverpool team on and have that confidence to kind of push forward and at the very least secure a top 4 spot, if not 2, 3.
Well, it'll be our last 4 games. I mean, look at the schedule. Last 4 games is Brentford, Villa, Chelsea, United. That's going to be the deciding factor in where we are, at least in the top 2 to 4 spots. But also those teams will be in the same boat too.
Yeah.
So it should make for some really interesting and hopefully competitive play that we didn't see last year at the end of the year for Liverpool, because it didn't matter. Right, it didn't matter. Yeah. So very different change of tides in the ending of the season here. It might not be for title hopes, but it'll definitely be a deciding factor in where we are going into next year.
And see, I think that's just a huge reminder to any footy fan is like, these seasons are so long. I don't even remember the phase of Liverpool being down in the dumps and not winning in 7 games or whatever.
I do.
I'm sure you do, but like, it's so like
it's irrelevant at this point
in the past now, where you would have in that period. I think even if you think Liverpool at 6th, it sounds like far-fetched on that form, but here you are at 6th, 3 points away from being top 4, 2 points, I guess. It's a silly season. It's a long season. It's, to all the reactive fans that after a bad performance or a loss or a handful of bad performances are like, throw the season away, get rid of the club, all the players suck, whatever. It's like,
yep.
Take a breather, go outside for a little bit and, buckle up for the next week. Because it keeps rolling. It'll even out in the end.
The biggest factor in these last 5 games of the seasons for us is 4 of those teams we lost to in the first half of the season. Chelsea, United, Palace, and where's my other one? United. So Villa's the only one we beat, shockingly. Yeah. Right, that was the one team where we didn't expect to have a victory against. And so this will be revenge games, table deciding games, the future, right?
Yeah.
Like what happens over the summer, those games are going to be huge for us. So we've got, 10 more games to get to that point. So we just need to lock in and handle business. But let's get it started with City.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we talk about a little paella tossing, Chad? Because that might be my favorite thing that happened over the weekend.
It's pretty great.
Adam Traore for West Ham. Hadn't said this name in a minute. Didn't know where he was. All of a sudden, next thing you know, he's tossing Cucurella like it was nothing. That was crazy.
It was like I feel like it was like a scripted like WWE toss, but I know it wasn't scripted. It's the thing.
The way he just grabbed him and tossed him like a suitcase that you see at the airport was just so funny to me. So funny how easily he picked him up. I mean, I can't imagine Cucurella weighs that much or is that big. If I had to guess, he's probably what, 5'9"?
Yeah, maybe around there. Like, he doesn't look overly tall.
He's 5'9". Mm-hmm. He's 146 pounds. This guy's like a bag of a paper bag floating through the wind.
That's Traore's like normal deadlift, I'm sure.
Oh, no problem. I can deadlift that. Traore is 190 pounds, all muscle, all beef, and he's about the same height. So, I mean, come on, man. His biceps are ripping through his kit. Like, this guy's crazy. And the fact he just tossed him was... I don't know if, like, I get Cucurella, like, pisses a lot of people off. We can't deny he's a really good player. We can't deny he gets in people's heads.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he deserved that one. I don't know. I've seen him do some things. I'm like, that guy sucks. But he literally was just playing. And then he was face down on the ground and just got picked up and tossed.
Yeah, I don't know. He maybe said something, made some weird comment. I don't know, but
and we've never seen
a warpath.
And we've never seen Traore really get that. I mean, I can't say we watch a ton of him, but we pay attention to him, right? Because you have to. You have to pay. And then João Pedro made the business decision of he realized his mistake in pushing him. But his eyes got so big, and that was such a funny moment just to show that these guys don't want to fight each other. Like they want to play footy and collect that paycheck. That was a pure business decision to not get involved. I don't know what was said. Traore probably had that look in his eye too, like I will mess you up. Mostly because he can. I mean, we've seen footy players, do the hand slapping, do the pushing, touch heads. This was close to a throwdown. It was close.
Is that immediate, like, Traore turn around and you could just see, like, his muscles, like, bulk out even more, and it's like, oh, he's pissed. He's coming for you.
It was an awesome photo. I hope we can make that our cover photo for the week. Just the maybe Traore back turn with the João Pedro eyes, like deer in headlights. That was awesome. And kudos to West Ham, because I thought they were going to do it, at least get the point against Chelsea. And continue their slight run of success. But you can't.
Yeah.
I'm not shocked Chelsea beat them, but it was a lot closer than what I thought it was going to be.
I mean, I think it was a game that I think Chelsea didn't really take seriously from the start.
Mm-hmm.
West Ham has been looking better in recent weeks, and I think you give them a London derby, they'll be up for it a little bit more, and I think they certainly were. And then I think while I've seen a lot of people giving praise for the subs, you basically just subbed in your starting 11 players, right? So yes, you made the right call to do that, but I think you can also admit that, well, you just didn't really take this game with as much respect as you probably should have. And, you almost threw it away. You let in 2 goals early on. And, honestly, that first half, West Ham looked the much better side.
Yep.
So, great to have that foresight of like, okay, this is not working. Let's bring in the other players, and surprise, surprise, they get the job done. But yeah, I think West Ham will be kicking themselves a little bit for at least not being able to hang on to that draw. But that's just kind of the tale of their season, I think.
I still think it's possible they can get out of their bottom 3. Probably the most optimistic we've been on West Ham this entire season. I mean, we're calling for the full reset, but now you're showing some urgency here and fighting against the top 4 team. With Forest and Leeds and Palace all kind of dipping. I mean, Tottenham's you're not going away either. You're still in that 9-point zone. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting finish. I think Burnley is probably isolating themselves as a relegation team. Unfortunately, they had the nice. They're like a tough team, but can't find a way.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, it's West Ham now. West Ham, I feel like the pressure's on. It's do or die time, and they're kind of going for it. So they got Burnley on the weekend. I mean, that they should handle business.
And I think they brought in a handful of players over this winter window, and they seem to be looking okay. Like at least injected a little bit of hope and belief maybe into the team with some new faces.
Was Paqueta a cancer? Like that makes you wonder too. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, look at all the off-field problems he had, and the complaining, the random red cards he's gotten over the season, and the injuries too. He's never been what you wanted out of him long term. I mean, it's Jared's Bowen team. And Bowen, this is ride or die with Bowen, and Bowen is not giving up.
No, he's putting it all out there every single week, and finally it looks like he's maybe getting some support out there from other players. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe Paqueta was just a problem. He even before his betting allegations or whatever. There was all that talk of him going to City, and so maybe he had a little bit of ego with that of like, well,
probably
I'm, better than this team, so why am I still here kind of vibe. And I don't know. This season he certainly didn't really ever perform, so I think it's probably a good thing for West Ham to just move on from him. If a team wants to pay for him, then cool, let's get him out and just move forward, because I think there probably was just some weird, I mean, certainly too much outside noise with him, but I'm sure that carried into inside the locker room as well. So
made it super awkward
for them.
Can't imagine. Next one I kind of want to jump to is the Forest game. Mostly not so much the game, but the red card Williams got. Do you think, I mean, looking back, do you just let that ball go in if you're Nico?
I think so. I don't feel like it didn't feel like a Luis Suarez, like I'm sticking my hand up to save this. This felt just like a weird, like human instinctual
moments, like,
right?
I can't let this go in. Not like I'm going to purposefully do it, but like I don't want to let this ball go in. Like I'm going to hit it with my hand because that's what I think I need to do. Yeah, I mean, different context, right? I mean, if this was at the 94th minute, and if he hands that, I'm like, yeah, that was on purpose. Like, he definitely didn't want that to go in. He, give your team the opportunity to at least get the point. But this one being at the, so early in the first half, it was just.
And you could see like the immediate regret and disappointment on his face. So I think it was just this weird, like, little dip in his brain of like,
for sure,
ball's coming towards you, get it away.
He definitely like was. I mean, if it was on purpose, I think he would have been like, I'm smart. Yeah. This was, I did this, but he kind of smiled and was like, oh my God. Yeah. And then, of course, easy PK and Forest hanging on for a point is a sign that Palace is really, really bad.
Yeah, in a bad way these days, unfortunately.
I mean, it's and then with the Mateta news of him, possibly getting transferred out to AC Milan, and then he has the secret injury, and now he's out for pretty much. He's not going to play for Palace again. That's I think set in stone. I mean, his injury recovery time, I think he puts him out till mid-April, but at that point, unless Palace is in relegation zone and they're like begging him, I don't see Mateta playing for Palace ever again, which is pretty sad.
Yeah, and I mean, on the flip side, Matt Sells went out injured here.
That's right.
There's no current return date. It looks like it was maybe a growing injury. And John Victor was their other keeper who still has that knee injury from his weird, like, sweeper keeper attempts. But they did bring in someone.
This could have been Carlos Miguel's music, but
should have been Carlos Miguel. So they got Stefan Ortega from Man City.
That's
so
right.
They might be okay with that. He's definitely put in some good performances in the cup games and stuff for City. So I don't know. I think it's still a shaky moment for Forest. I think he probably should have been able to get past this Palace team, even down a player. But, now with, I guess, a backup keeper, and new to the club, right? So that gel with your back defensive line isn't going to be set there. And I don't know. You got, they go away to Leeds next. So you kind of got to get up to speed right away, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Leeds is going to look for a bounce back too. It's tough to be at the bottom right now. Again, that like bottom 6 is just, any one of those teams could continue to fall, and it wouldn't shock me. I think Leeds has the one like bright spot because they've been better. I'm just as curious about how the relegation is going to go. As the top 3, because we're going to finally see a team in Sunderland not get relegated. So fingers crossed. That'd be crazy drop off, but they should be fine.
Yeah.
If you had to put money on it right now, who'd you say takes that 18th spot? Because I don't think it's West Ham.
Yeah, I think West Ham will make it out. Honestly, I it's hard. I think I'm stuck between Forest and Palace, honestly. Forest has shown some fights, but I think you're still just running into, issues of just the team not getting over the line when they need to. And Palace, I think there's just like such a toxicity around them in the club at the moment where it's got to be hard. And then I would also kind of question if it comes down to it, manager already said he's leaving. Is he going to really try and put all his effort into keeping this team up? I don't think so.
The fact that Palace hasn't hit the oh shit button 3 weeks ago and be like, we need a new coach, we need a new system, we need to bring in some players to make sure we don't get relegated, or they're just saying whatever, we'll take relegation. It's almost like they don't believe they're in that situation yet, but they're there, they're in it.
I mean, I think they're showing some fight, right? Like at least at the
yeah.
signings, you brought in Strand Larson, so I think you probably anticipated Mateta to be vacating that spot, but I think Strand Larson will be. Well, he has to be better than Mateta because Mateta won't be playing. Brennan Johnson, I think, was a interesting signing. Don't think you really needed him necessarily.
It seemed like a future signing, but they need a present day something to help.
I think they're kind of. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. Like a lot of these signings seem a little bit more future oriented when because they even brought in Guisant, I don't know how to say your last name, from Villa, another winger, which is he's alone, but he's 24. I would think you would want to find a player with a little bit more experience at least, if you're going to bring him in to try and keep you up, but I don't know. It just seems like there's been so much noise in and out of that club, and I think keeping the manager that has already had like so many issues with the board throughout the season, and has already said he's leaving at the end. If I'm in this like bottom half, I think you maybe just pay him out for the rest of the 6 months. It can't be that much, and get someone in, and someone who can just like focus up and keep this team up here, because if this Palace team drops, I'm sure there's plenty of clauses in these contracts that players can go for cheaper and will want to leave, and
right.
I don't know that Palace and their board has the drive to get back up here.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
After the last couple of years of selling and problems, I mean, the last game they won was Fulham in early December. So like they have this huge weight on their back right now of trying to get a victory, but no motivation. Not from you got to have it from the top, right? And Glasner can't wait to be done. Cannot wait. I can't imagine what the locker rooms really look like with him trying to motivate the guys when he himself is like, look.
I'm just thinking every training is just like, all right, I don't know, go out there, shoot, pass around or something.
I mean, it's hard to imagine a manager who doesn't want to win. I don't know. And it's like, do you want this manager as your future club manager too? If this is like the attitude that he's already bringing in, I mean, I get he's upset with the board, and that is above him. But in the future, if he has a problem with the board, are you going to get the same like whatever type attitude? There's red flags everywhere right now with Palace, and I don't envy the players that want to win. I mean, there's definitely quality. Yeah. There's quality players there. A small handful, but will Strand Larson be their savior? I don't think so. He couldn't save the Wolves. And it's like right now, quality wise, Palace isn't. I would argue Palace is in a worse situation than the Wolves right now. At least the Wolves have a realistic approach to what is going to happen to them this season. So they're doing anything they can to not look as bad as they were in the beginning of the season, which is why I think we're seeing a better Wolves team, because they're not playing so constricted and playing with some freedom now, right? You got nothing to lose. Literally nothing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's why they sold Strand Larson. They said, you want to buy our player and save us some money before we drop down?
Right.
Great, let's do it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Tough.
I don't know. I mean, are you on Forest and Palace too is going down? Or?
I think so. More Palace than Forest, just because of the Dyche effect and how Forest has been here before. Maybe not with the same players, but definitely some. Right. We had this situation happen 2 years ago, I want to say, because last year they did good. So the year prior they on the final match day, they found their way out of the relegation zone. I think we'll see something similar. They're still fighting for Europe. They have to keep their form up. Palace, I mean, if Palace wants to stay, they have to keep their form up, but they haven't had Palace this season has not been a roller coaster. It was a peak and then just an absolute tank, right? At least Forest is showing ups and downs, showing they can have some fight. They can win games. They can have, as crazy as this is, success in Europe, which is kind of why Tottenham is also in that same boat. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tottenham going down would be probably the biggest failures in the modern day era of football if Tottenham gets relegated. I don't think it'll happen just because they have something to fight for too. I mean, they're sitting 4th in Champions League, which is doesn't make any sense, but I think out of all the seasons we've had, this one has not made a ton of sense. So again, with Tottenham and Palace sitting in the same place right now, of course, I think Palace has the worst future, but Tottenham ain't out of this yet, man. They still got some tough matches to come. United, Arsenal, Fulham, Liverpool, those are all teams they're playing in the next month and a half.
Yeah, and Tottenham's just adding to their injury list every game, seemingly. You don't really have a back line at the moment. Romero should be back if it is just an illness. But, except for that second half against City, I think a lot of their games have looked more similar to the first half, where it's just been kind of a slow, disjointed, kick the ball around and hope for the best kind of vibe. So I don't know, maybe that second half will be enough to kind of show them what they should be doing. But, I think United they're feeling good. I think they'll take it to Tottenham, and I don't know that Tottenham can really cope with that energy right now. And Newcastle next, and Newcastle will always try and put up a fight, even with this season not going as planned. But it's a rocky road ahead for Tottenham. I think they're just going to get lucky that there's some worse teams there, but
not by much.
I mean, what does it say about you that 2 seasons in a row you're doing well in Europe, but then in the league you're not relegation candidate, but you're right there. It
makes you think, right, about how many Premier League teams would have success in Europe. It's almost like this format of top 4, or the Europa winner needs to be changed just a little bit. I mean, I would love to see in a hypothetical world some type of bracket formation where maybe not the season-long standings matter, but why not top 16 teams in the middle of the season have some playoff spots for maybe top 3 are guaranteed, but let's mix it up a little. Let's see what happens if we can get a Fulham inside Champions League. Doesn't it make you wonder? I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know what could ever make that happen. I don't know. Again, it's all fan speculation. I would just love to see, instead of the same teams that we always see in the Champions League out of the Premier League, with maybe a one-off here and there, we'll see a Leicester in there. This case, we're seeing a Tottenham, but it's not like Tottenham hasn't been there before. But I mean, hell, when's the last time Bournemouth was in Champions League? When's the last time Everton was in Champions League? Yeah. And what's crazy is those teams are better than Tottenham at the moment. So would they be sitting top 10 in Champions League? It's very possible. Makes you think. Makes you think.
Yeah, it would be a fun experiment to just see.
It's good fan fiction.
Just because there's so much money in Premier League that even these worse teams, have the funds to bring in good, decent players. It's just other teams can bring in better players. But then when you compare it against Europe, it we're seeing this season that the Premier League level is just a touch higher than the rest, right? So now you have your Tottenham sitting in 14th, hasn't won a game in the past 5 at least, and but is cruising in Champions League. That's just, it's craziness.
Is Tottenham better than Inter? It makes you ask those questions.
I wouldn't think so, but yeah, it certainly poses a question.
It's again, the Super League thing is such in the grand scheme of things, an impossible feat, but it does make you wonder where the Tottenham would fall in the Super League.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, Champions League at this point is kind of like turning into that a little bit. But it just makes you think like the football world is kind of running through the Premier League now. Now, will Premier League team win Champions League? Too early to say. You don't know.
Yeah.
You got the Giants in there that always seem to come through, the Bayerns, the Madrids. Yeah. But I think this year, considering how open, I guess, Champions League is, I think a Premier League team is probably going to win it. It wouldn't shock me.
I mean, yeah, we see what all five made it through, right?
Yeah, all five.
Or I guess City has the playoff, but
City and Castle have the playoff.
Oh, Castle, yeah. So not all the way through yet, but I don't imagine any other league has all their teams that made it through. So
no, we gotta be. I'm pretty sure we're doing one. I think actually City. Now that I'm looking at the table, City made it. It's top 8 that goes through. Correct? Okay. Yeah, City. Yeah. City was sitting 8th.
Oh.
Madrid just outside of that. So, which is why we now see the Madrid Benfica matchup again. I don't recall who Newcastle is going against. End of February 17th, I think, are those games. Newcastle has Carabag FK. Unfamiliar with their game. Apologies. And then that's it, right? Everyone else is sitting pretty.
Yeah. So you would think with that amount of EPL teams in there that one of them can make it all the way to the end, but we'll see. I mean, Bayern always put up a fight. Madrid should maybe. I don't know.
Barcelona's going to be there.
Yeah, Inter and all them. So tough competition still ahead, but
we got some time now. Time to think. I mean, this playoff thing is interesting too, because I feel like a lot of teams in that like 18 to 24 spot like just snuck in. Mm-hmm. But if you can catch Madrid on an off day, PSG's having off days, Inter's like all these like cusp top 8 teams are struggling a little bit too. Yeah. So it'll be fun. I we were skeptical to that new format, but I think it's working out.
Yeah, I think so.
Nicely. I think the next change is Europa. I think they got to change that around a little bit on who.
Absolutely.
On maybe making it, I don't want to say tougher to get in, but maybe opening up the doors a little bit more. On maybe more teams getting entered. I don't know how they can do that, just because the drop off from Champions League, or maybe having the Champions League teams that don't make it in this knockout phase shift into Europa, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they used to do that.
Right.
And I think you can do that, but I think I'd almost want to see like a playoff between those teams to get in or something. Just because it always felt like you were, the Champions League team drops down straight into a knockout round of a Europa team wins because they're just better and moves on. So I think if you kind of make another knockout in between of those failed Champions League teams, it could just kind of decrease the number of those teams, I guess, but also maybe inspire the Europa teams to get something done against them when they fully come into play.
Yep. Yeah, it will be true. It'll be interesting. And then as we speak right now is Newcastle and City are playing. Ooh, it's already pretty much over. City's up 3-0 at the 35th minute. So
yeah, they had a 2-0 lead already in the first leg. So
okay, so
that's done.
That settles it. City's likely moving on there. Excited for the weekend. We got the Super Bowl, and then we got the Seahawks and Patriots Super Bowl after Liverpool and City. So hopefully, I don't think we're gonna have any overlap there.
No.
I want to just double check. Liverpool's probably going to play at 10.
8:30.
Oh, they got the morning game. Is that the last one of the weekend, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, only 2 on Sundays.
Okay, quick Sunday. All right. Well, that wraps it up for me. You got anything more to say?
Not really. No, it's just glad we could have a happy pod again.
Yeah, we're back.
Last week, we're always here, rain or shine, but the shining ones are so much more fun.
Yeah, that was a hate talk last week. Now we're up again. So hopefully at the end of the weekend, at least one of us is still happy. Well, It could be a double negative though.
Well,
if
don't say that.
If it is, we'll be back regardless.
Yeah.
All right, Chad. As always, it's been a pleasure. And with that, the hooligans were out. Peace. Peace. Peace.